Hello, welcome back to Nostalgia Drive. So this is episode 2 of my Saya no Uta playthrough. So in the last episode, we learned about Fuminori's. He was put in hospital for up to 50 days and he's just not been the same person now. So I'm assuming we're going to learn a lot more about what's going on in his psyche now. Dr. Tambo Yoku Quote, sorry about my pronunciation there, has never had a more troublesome patient. Why do they always need to make the doctors hot in anime style? Any changes since your last visit? So he must be going to the doctor, or maybe a psychologist, every so often. I think it's a doctor, I think. Yeah, no, it said a doctor earlier, actually. His voice is hard and flat, his words tossed carelessly into the air. It's like he's speaking to himself in an empty room. Ryoko is a surgeon. She's not a psychiatrist. But even she can sense the thickness of the wall he has erected between himself and the world. Because I think it must be a hallucination. Saki Saka appears to be looking at Roko. His gaze is actually aimed at a fraction down at the side. He's only superficially engaged in a conversation, when in truth it does not interest him in the slightest. Perfect rejection. Realising that she can't interview him like this, Ryoko sighs and sets her charts aside. Also, latest in experimental neurosurgery, so maybe they've done something to mess his brain up or something, I'm not sure. Treatment of the subdural hematoma, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, I think that's a medical term, through the use of micro machines and a procedure available in Japan exclusively here at T University, had been the only way to save Sakisaka Fuminori from a cerebral contusion. I don't know, sorry if I don't know if I pronounced this right, but it's quite medical. That should have been fatal. So there's always a risk of stuff happening. So they don't know. Sakisaka Fuminori lips twist slightly in what might be a bitter or mocking smile, that it's gone before Ryoko can discern its meaning. Most can be disorders as well with it. So he must have some sort of disorder from this surgery. Hence these weekly checkups, if only he would take them a little more seriously. Saki Saka asked abruptly, as if to catch Roko off guard. MRI, magnetic resonant images, is a way for doctors to examine the brain in detail without opening the patient's skull. Surprised by Saki Saka's uncommon technical knowledge, Ryoko recalls his profile. There was nothing, not the slightest hint of abnormal activity for a procedure with such low rate of success. The results have been nothing short of miraculous. However, something still bothers Ryoko. She can't shake the feeling that he's hiding something beneath his guarded exterior, some terrible weight on his soul perhaps. But if it's an inorganic problem, then there's nothing she can do as long as he refuses to explain it. You sure about that? There's definitely something wrong with the things he's saying. Yeah, I don't know why he's not trusting them, but... Maybe it's because they're the one that's done the surgery to him, I don't know. Smiling to cover up her irritation, Sakisaka asked exactly the same question during last week's visit.
先週の話の続きなんですが、先生、あれから大貝教授については何か分かりました？
Ogai. Unable to answer, Roko hardens the mask of her smile. As before, the patient is inquiring about someone who has no business knowing.
大貝教授のことは、あなたの治療とは何の関係もないでしょ？
信頼しろと言った矢先に、いきなり隠し事ですか？
I wonder how Ogai is then. Roko is used to patients treating her with hostility. Some degree of paranoia is natural when dealing with a person whose mistakes could kill you. In Sakisaka, however, she doesn't see the anxiety that other patients exhibit. His demeanour is perfectly calm, almost like a detective questioning a suspect.
何分、だいぶ前にここを辞められた方ですからね。私個人としても交流があったわけではないし。
I feel like she's lying about that.
ええ、おそらく個人的な事情でしょうね。
So I wonder if that little guy's the person that done the surgery, maybe. I'm not sure. Her earlier hesitation gone, having decided at the outset to lie, she has no trouble doing so with a straight
それにして
face.
も、崎坂さん、なぜあなたはそんなに大貝教授にこだわるんです？
教授は今失踪中なんです。
いいえ。
Roko realizes that her answer may have been a little too quick. She should have acted
近
more
頃教授の
surprised.
身内の人間と恋にしていましたね。その人から調査を頼まれているんです。
A relative Roko concerns this with a
大貝
frown.
教授に縁者の方はおられないはずです。
おお、誰から聞きました？
それは噂話に。
Ryoko replies, remembering that she just claimed to have no contact with the man, so she's lying then.
そんなことが噂になる程度には、大貝教授は有名人だったわけですね。
まあ、一風変わった人だったみたいですね。
なのに、誰も彼が大学を辞めた理由を知らないと。
Ryoko falls silent, knowing that this isn't a topic she can brush away with a smile. Sakisaka seems to have finally grasped her mood, however, as her strangely stiff tone softens a little.
僕はどうしても大貝教授に会わなきゃならないんです。彼がいなくなったせいで、行く当てがなくなり困っている子がいるんです。
So I
そ
wonder
れ
who
はむ
this
しろ
girl
警察の
is.
領分なんじゃないかしら。
Although she makes it sound like it's the most obvious thing in the world, the suggestion is actually a gamble. If Ogai Masahiko's, I think that's how you pronounce the name, disappearance becomes a police matter, then the university will be investigated. Everyone who's involved in the incident will be at risk of exposure, and of course that includes Roko herself. She knows, however, that Sakisaka is unlikely to go to the police. First of all, his excuse is obviously a lie. They already made sure that Ogai had no relative who might come looking for him, which is why they could bury the truth of what happened. But then how did Sakisaka, a mere patient, learn about
崎坂さん、
Ogai?
私の知っている範囲のことは喜んでお教えします。どこか長期の旅行にでも行かれたか。
そうですか。
Expecting resistance, Ryoko is surprised when Sakisaka backs down. She's still worried about his condition, and the mysterious link between him and Ogai is only making her more uneasy. But as long as he doesn't open up to her, there's nothing she can do. After a brief pause, Ryoko writes progress good on Sakisaka's chart for
崎坂さ
today.
ん、それでは来週の診察ですが、今日と同じ4時でも。
Before she can finish, Sakisaka's just gone. He just dips out of there. He just walks out. Oh no, not this again. This is hideous looking, man. It looks like someone sprayed the walls with pig guts from the ceiling to the floor. What colour should the walls of the hospital be? White, of course. And to the creatures of rotten flesh shambling around me, I'm sure this hallway looks just as white as it should. I know intellectually that the walls are white, and I know that the flesh beasts are really human. I'm the one with the problem, and it's because I accepted this and that I'm able to lead something approaching a normal life. Even if my university's medical department is nowhere near as good as T's university's, I'm still a medical student specialising in neurology. I have a basic idea of what happened to me, though it's hard to believe. This isn't a pathological condition, it's probably some form of agnosia, unlike anything that's ever been studied before. The flesh beast called Tambo Roko said that other patients had developed cold disorders after receiving the same treatment I had did, so I guess I'm just another failure. It makes me want to laugh in that know-it-all doctor's face. That said, I don't blame the doctors who operated on me. After all, I do owe them my life. I know as well as anyone how low of a chance of success was, and I had no other hope of survival. Yeah, so he doesn't seem to be like annoyed but the doctors operated on him. But like, even the place is like completely like, I don't know, this is horrible the way he looks at like the actual like town. I was unlucky, that's all there is to it. The point is that my condition isn't treatable. You think it would be, but I guess, I don't know if it is or not. Just like someone adapting to hearing aid or wheelchair, I have no choice but to adapt to this nauseating scenery. Of course it's hard, it wasn't easy to resign myself to this fate. But now there's more than just despair. Even for me, there's a glimmer of hope. Keeping my eye on my feet, I hurry home. I live in a quiet suburban neighbourhood in a house that's much too large for me alone. My parents, even unluckier than I was, died in an accident 3 months ago. I couldn't even go to the funeral for being in intensive care. That's horrible. I had to sell my father's business, but at least that left me with a house and enough money to live on for a while. But it's at his house, so from what it looks like from his perspective, that's so horrible. Of course I'm sad, but the accident took more from me than my parents. In fact, being on my own has probably saved me. If they were still alive, my parents would never have allowed me to live with some strange girl. Who's the girl? I have seen this girl in like the cover art of the game. I think this must be who Saya is, I'm assuming. As I open the door, a bright voice greets me from the kitchen. The voice is beautiful and clear as a bell, human. Its sweet sound washes the day's cacophony from my memory. Even the patter of feet coming down the hallway is music to my ears. Nowhere else in the city can I hear such footsteps, only in this house with Saya. I'm so privileged. So I wonder why Saya's only like shown as a human then. I don't know why, it's kind of strange. Like who is Saya? I don't know. And her smile and the inquisitive tilt of her head is everything that I've lost. The music's kind of interesting that it's like singing on it. Since my accident, this girl is the only person I've met, perhaps the only person in the entire world who does not trigger my cognitive disorder. True, her skin seems too white and the colour of her eyes and hair is probably different in reality, but even so her form is indefinitely human, and it's not just her appearance and her voice either. As I bend down to take off my shoes, Saya wraps her arms around my neck and pulls me gently into her chest. Her skin feels truly human, not cold or slimy, and from her hair wafts a sweet feminine fragrance. In all of the world, only Saya is pleasing to my 5 senses. And what's more, she smiles at me, embraces me. She knows that she is my salvation, and for some reason is happy that I need her. If I had not met Saya, if I had been all alone in this twisted, filth-ridden world, I'd have no doubts succumbed to madness. It is no exaggeration to say that Saya alone is keeping me alive.
今の模様替えもう半分ぐらい塗り終わったよ。で今はね、文則の晩ご飯作ってるの。
そうか。
もうちょっと時間かかりそうなの。待っててくれる？
いいよ。じゃあ僕は今の続きをやってる。
After I see the humming Saya off to the kitchen, I step into the living room. Oh, it's like all green. Like, why is it all green? I realised one day that if the natural colours of the world were sickening, all I had to do was paint over them with colours that seemed pleasant. Alright. So that's why it's all green, that's weird. I went to the hardware store and bought every colour of paint I could find. Then Saya and I tried different combinations until we found one that worked. After painting the bedroom from ceiling to floor, I was able to get my first good night's sleep since the accident. Like, I actually didn't think it, like, how would you actually sleep in this? So it's just horrible to look at. When we first started in the living room, Saya, unsure what to do with the curtains, just painted carefully around the window. Without a moment's hesitation, I tore the curtains down and painted over the glass itself. There'll never be anything out there that I want to see. As long as we keep the storm shutters closed, the neighbours probably won't think anything of it.
こっちで食べよう。持ってきてくれるか。
As she enters the living room with a tray of food, Saya sniffs the air. So I wonder if the food will actually like have any like look to it. The paint smell doesn't bother you. Now that she mentions it, I suppose the smell of paint thinner must be building up in this closed room. It doesn't really bother me though. There are far worse smells outside.
嫌いかい？
平気。文則が大丈夫ならいい。
Saya sets the food on the table. Unfortunately, neither its colour nor its smell is at all appetising. Not that the food elsewhere is any different. As it becomes a routine, I steel myself and melodically transport the food into my mouth. The taste is gut-wrenching as I expected, but that's not Saya's fault. I'm sure she made it exactly like the cooking show said, it's just my taste buds can't accept it. That's horrible, she can't even eat like anything and it tastes good.
美味しくない？
まあね。
Lying won't make Saya happy. She knows about my
気にしない
condition.
で。明日はまた別のものを作ってあげる。
ごめんな、いつも。せっかく作ってくれたのに。
いいのよ。こうやっていろいろ試していけば、いつか文則でも美味しく食べられるメニューが見つかるかもしれないじゃない。
In my current state, eating is nothing more than an unwelcome duty. As much as I hate it, I need food to survive. If I stay alive, then perhaps one day, as Saya says, I'll be able to taste something delicious again. I met Saya, didn't
そう
I?
は食べないの？
私はもう済ましたから。
Who is Saya though? I just don't even know. I don't think she's human. I could be wrong, but... In all of the time we've been together, Saya's never once eaten with me. I don't know why she refuses to do so. It makes me a little sad. She doesn't eat. That's weird, that's strange. Still, I am not about to push the issue, not when she's putting up with all the problems I
そういえ
have.
ば、今日もう一度病院で君のお父さんのこと聞いてみた。
パパの？
Ah, right. So Saya is related to Ogai then. Right, so that's why he's asking about him. Dr. Ogai Masahiko is Saya's father and her only living relative. Saya had to ask me to unravel the mystery of his
やっ
disappearance.
ぱり何も教えてくれない。何か隠している雰囲気なんだが。
そう。
I expected Saya to be a little more
心配じゃない
disappointed.
のかい？
そういうわけじゃないの。
It's not that. She gives a little shake of her head and smiles at me once
あり
more
がと
again.
う、文則。私のためにいろいろと。
君はそれ以上のことを僕のためにしてくれるんだ。
I thank her for the meal and set my chopsticks down next to the perfectly clean plate. As wrenched as the taste was, thinking of the care that Saya put into it gave me strength to finish every bite.
じゃあ、お風呂にする？
まあ、また背中流してくれるか？
Ever since Saya moved in, it's been like having my own life. Saya, why are you so good to me? It looks like slime, this room. Is this truly what you want? What am I that you can give yourself to me, body and soul? Is this merely sympathy? Do you pity me? The exile from society? Is that enough for you to surrender yourself to such mad desire? Saya is here, Saya is with me now. Only in this moment is her existence certain. Only when I'm joined with her can I believe. Like, is Saya actually real, I wonder? Like, is he actually like imagining her? I'm not sure. No matter what cruel fate might await me, Saya, there's nothing I fear more than losing you.
泣いてるの？
I realise that my cheeks are wet with
どうして
tears.
ださよ。なぜ僕にここまでしてくれる？
みのり。
わからないんだ。わからないのに僕だけがどんどん君に惹かれていく。君なしちゃ耐えられなくなっていく。
I don't really blame him. Like, if I was seeing all that crap, like, I don't think I'd be able to deal with it. I wrap my arms tighter around her, praying that our bodies will melt together and never again be apart.
どうすれば君を失わずにいられる？僕は何をすればいい？どうやって君…
こうやって抱いていて。みのりに抱いてもらうの大好き。だから私はみのりから離れたりしない。
なぜ僕なんだ？
それはね、みのりが一人ぼっちだから。それはさやも一人ぼっちだったから。
The sorrow in her voice resonates with my own. There is a deep loneliness in her eyes, a loneliness from which now springs boundless
だから
affection.
さやにもみのりしかいないの。この世でただ一人だけ私を抱きしめてくれる大好きなみのり。
I really feel like there's going to be a really screwed up thing happening. I don't know, I just feel like this is just like... It doesn't seem right, like it really doesn't. This is probably like a good point to end the video here. So we'll see what happens in the next episode, and we'll see if we can discover kind of more about Saya. So I'll see you in the next episode of Saya no Uta. Bye!